field trip. A normal one, just like the ones you've taken every year since first grade. The bus ride was long, the windows foggy, and your teacher talked too much. You don't even remember what the museum was supposed to be about. Something boring. Rocks, maybe, or history. But none of that matters anymore. Because you wandered off. You didn't mean to. You just saw something strange near the edge of the trees behind the parking lot. A low black fence. Short stone markers sticking up from the dirt. No one else seemed to notice. No one followed. You stepped off the trail without even thinking. There were about 20 headstones, all cracked and leaning, like they'd been there forever. Some were half buried. The writing on most was too faded to read, but one of them, just one, was clean. New, somehow. The stone was smooth and pale, and the letters carved into it looked fresh, and when you leaned down to read it, your chest felt tight. Because it said your name. Not just your first name, your full name. Every letter right. The middle name no one ever uses, even the dash between your last two. You stared at it for a long time. You don't know how long. Your eyes burned. You think you touched it. Then, everything went dark. You woke up back on the bus. Your backpack was zipped. Your seatbelt was on. No one said anything. Not the teacher, not the other kids. You didn't ask. You thought maybe it was a dream. You hoped it was a dream. But then you got back to school, and things started feeling wrong. Your teacher dropped her pen when you said, "Good morning." She laughed it off, but her eyes didn't. She kept watching you, like she was waiting for something to go wrong. When you turned to look at her, she flinched, like you were about to hit her. Your math teacher stopped calling on you. When you raised your hand, he just stared, then called on someone else. You started catching your classmates looking at you, then quickly looking away. One of them whispered something to another. You only heard part of it. Doesn't cast a shadow. You laughed at that. Until you went to the bathroom and looked in the mirror. The lights were on. You saw the room behind you. You saw the stalls, the sinks, but not you, not your shape, not even a blur. Just the mirror. Cold, flat, wrong. You waved your hand. Nothing waved back. At lunch, no one sat with you. Not even your best friend. When you asked him why, he said he was told not to. You asked who told him. He just shook his head and looked at the floor. You noticed his hands were shaking. The janitor started locking doors early. Doors you used to walk through without thinking. The library's upstairs hallway was shut down. The stairs blocked off with yellow tape. You saw the nurse put a box outside her door. The label said, "Earplugs, for staff use only." The next day, your science teacher started wearing sunglasses indoors. You walked past the principal's office. The secretary looked at you like you were on fire. She made a call the second you passed. You heard her say your name. You weren't supposed to hear it, she whispered. But you did. You always do now. You hear things. Far away things. Below things. You went back to the field. You needed to see it again, to know you didn't imagine it. But the trees were gone. The fence, too. The grass looked new. Too new. Like it was painted on. Like it was hiding something. You dug a little with your hands. The dirt was soft. Almost warm. You found something. Not a stone. Something harder. Smoother. You brushed it off. Just a corner. Just one letter. The start of your name. But then someone called your name behind you. Only it wasn't a voice you recognized. And when you turned around, it wasn't a person. It looked like one. From far away, it had arms, legs, clothes like yours. Same shoes, same shirt, same backpack. But it didn't move right. Its head tilted too far. Its neck was too long. And when it stepped closer, its face looked soft, like clay. Like it hadn't finished forming yet. But the worst part? The part that made your chest feel cold and your teeth hurt? Its face was almost yours. Almost. You ran. You didn't look back. You ran all the way to the edge of the field and didn't stop until you were behind the school. You didn't tell anyone. You knew no one would listen. They were already afraid of you. Already watching you like you might break. That night, your dreams were heavy and slow. You were back at the field. Back at the grave. Only this time, The headstone wasn't the same. The name was scratched out. Your name. Gone. Replaced with one word. Return. You woke up with dirt under your fingernails. The next morning, there were new rules taped to the hallway walls. Rules you'd never seen before. Rules that didn't make sense. Do not speak to your reflection. Do not answer if you hear your name whispered from the vents. If a second version of yourself appears in the classroom, raise your hand and report it immediately. You asked your homeroom teacher where the rules came from. She smiled too big and said, "Those are just in case. You know how kids like to pretend." But her voice shook, and she wouldn't look you in the eyes. Later, in gym, someone pushed you. You didn't see who. You fell, hit the ground hard. The gym teacher ran over, but when she saw your face, she froze, like her legs stopped working. She took a step back, then another. Then she whispered, "Which one are you?" You tried to answer, but she turned and ran. In art class, you were drawing with crayons. Everyone else was too. Normal stuff, flowers, animals, houses, 9. You looked down at your paper and realized you hadn't drawn any of those things. You hadn't drawn anything you remembered choosing. But there it was, the graveyard, the fence, the headstone, your name, and in the corner of the page, a small figure with no face, holding your backpack. You dropped the crayon. Your hands were shaking again. But the paper didn't fall. It stuck to the desk like it was part of it. You tried to peel it off. The edges tore, but the picture stayed. You blinked, and the figure in the picture moved. Just a little. That night, your bedroom mirror was fogged, but you hadn't taken a shower. You wiped it, but the reflection didn't match your movements. Your reflection smiled when you did. Then it whispered something, but you couldn't hear through the glass. You don't sleep anymore. Your classmates started calling you the echo. You heard them in the hallways, in the bathrooms. They said your locker is always cold, that books go missing near you, that sometimes when you speak, your voice keeps going after you stop, like someone else is speaking underneath you. You tried to call home from the nurse's office, but the phone made a strange sound, like breathing, slow and close. You tried again. Same sound. The nurse unplugged the phone and told you to go back to class. The teachers have changed too. They don't write on the boards anymore. They don't touch chalk. Some of them wear gloves. One has bandages around her fingers. Always fresh. Always clean. Another only teaches with the lights off now. She says it helps with distractions. You saw your file on the principal's desk last week. Just for a second. Just long enough to read the words stamped in red at the top. Do not remove. Do not wake. And now, every day, the school gets a little quieter. The lights flicker more often. The clocks tick slower. The air smells like wet earth. And you're not sure how long you've been here anymore. Because this morning, when you looked at your seat in homeroom, someone was already in it. Someone who looked like you. And when they smiled, you finally remembered what was buried in that field. But by then, it was too late to scream.